Now, I don't know about you, but I am always looking for new ways to practice my jazz improvisation, to improve my jazz solos, to make them more exciting, to get deeper inside of jazz standards. So in today's video, I'm going to show you a killer jazz improv exercise that will have you thinking outside the box and taking your solos to the next level. That's coming right up. What's up? Brent here from LearnJazzStandards.com, which is a blog, a podcast, and videos all geared towards helping you become a better jazz musician. Hey, make sure you subscribe at the button below if you've never done that before. Now, I've always loved the idea of improvisation being composing sped up. It just makes a lot of sense to me. So in my mind, if we want to become better improvisers, wouldn't it be a good idea to practice slowing the process down and work on composing? So in today's lesson, we're actually going to be applying rhythmic motific development, which I'll talk about in a second, and composing ideas over the jazz standard, Someday My Prince Will Come. And when we do this, you're going to really, it's going to be really eye-opening, I think, for how if we approach with rhythms first and then add melody, how it can really open up our jazz playing. And by the way, this lesson, it comes out of my new ebook and companion course, the Jazz Standards Playbook Volume 2, which is 10 in-depth jazz standards. And one of them is Someday My Prince Will Come. And this is just a little excerpt of one of the lessons that I do in there. So if you're interested in checking that out, go to the Jazz Standards Playbook 2.com. All right, let's jump right into this. Let's start checking this out. Now, we're going to do this exercise in 2 steps. So let's get started. All right, so step number 1 is to compose rhythmic motifs over top of the song form. So first of all, let's define what a motif is anyways. In music, a motif is a short rhythmic or melodic passage that is repeated or evoked in various parts of composition. So when we're talking about motific development, we're talking about taking these little ideas and developing them further. You'll totally get what I'm talking about in a second in case this is a foreign subject to you. So what we're going to do for this exercise is take the form of Someday My Prince Will Come and do 8-bar motific development sequences using just rhythms, no melodies at all. So I'm going to go ahead and compose 4 8-bar rhythmic sequences over Someday My Prince Will Come. And they're the same rhythms. It just repeats over and over again, but we switch it up every 8 bars. You'll see what I'm saying. Here it is right here with a little click track. The piano plays on beat 1 so you can hear it super clearly. So when you listen to this, you can hear that I start out with some more basic rhythms and then move on to some more syncopated ones at the end. Now, this really gets me start to think creatively about what kind of rhythms can I do? What kind of rhythms can I use to outline that 3/4 time? And how can I tie them all together? Now, when we start with rhythms first and not with notes, this gets our brain thinking in a way that most improvisers are not thinking. We don't always want to be thinking about the harmony and the notes. And while that's important, rhythm is a huge factor for us feeling the time, playing over the form, especially 3/4 time, and most of us are more familiar with 4/4. So now that we've done this, let's move on to step number 2. Step number 2 is to hit that like button, like the one on the video below. No, I'm just kidding. That's actually not the second step, but I'm going to get to the second step right after you hit the like button. So like if you hit the like button, oh, okay. All right, you did it. All right, moving on. Step number 2 is to add notes to the rhythms you just composed. So now at this point, we've got our rhythms. Now all we're going to do is just fill in the blanks with some actual melodic notes that outline the chord changes. So you can do this, of course, by playing the chord tones. You can do this, of course, by thinking about voice leading, how to connect those notes together. Again, using those rhythms as your framework for composing. There's, of course, so many different ways we can outline the chord changes, pick note choices, and I've done tons of videos on that, but we're just going to focus on the notes right now and applying them to the rhythm. So here's the idea that I composed, again, just with the piano track playing on beats 1, and you'll be able to hear what I did to this rhythmic exercise. Now, I've found that when I did this, it actually really caused me to think much more creatively than I normally would if I just composed a solo outright. I find for myself that I typically would rely too much on eighth note lines or just cliches that I know from bebop language. But when I started with the rhythms first, it really caused me to think creatively, to think melodically. And honestly, I think the end result of what I composed, it would be a solo that I'd be proud to play. Now, obviously, I wouldn't want to play it exactly like that. It's a little bit too robotic, but this is a great exercise to apply and start working out in your playing. So here's what I want to hear from you in the comments below. Which jazz standard are you going to apply this exercise to this week? Let me know how it goes. Would love to hear from you down there. And remember, guys, this comes out of my new ebook and companion course, The Jazz Standards Playbook Volume 2. So you can check that out at thejazzstandardsplaybook2.com. All right, make sure again you like this video. Make sure you're subscribed. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.